Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fat Bloonski's coming at your neck with this Grim Harvest aspect build. Now obviously in this build I'm going to utilize the new Hunter aspect Grim Harvest. This is also kind of a Salvager salvo build. As you can see, I got it right here, and just a quick peek before I show you. Look at that, I got this nice ornament, I got the nice shader on it. It looks beautiful, I love it. You guys got to get this thing, it is such a good weapon. But yeah, we're going to utilize Salvager salvo as well as try and spam our melee and some grenades. So let's go ahead and break it down. So obviously we are on the Revenant Hunter. As for my aspects of choice, we're using Winter Shroud, so whenever I dodge, nearby targets become slowed. And then we're also using Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards, much like the ones from the Tectonic Harvest from the Titan. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. Now the main difference between this aspect and something like Tectonic Harvest is that every once in a while with Grim Harvest, maybe it's random or maybe it is like the stronger the opponent you defeat, it drops like a bigger crystal, and the bigger crystals give you more melee energy. I've never seen that with Tectonic Harvest, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it is when you defeat a powerful combatant, but I don't know, let's see. As for my fragments of choice, we're also using Whisper of Fractures. This is a new one. Your melee energy recharges faster when you're near 2 or more combatants. I do take 10 away from my discipline, but that's okay. We're using Whisper of Refraction, so whenever I defeat slowed or frozen targets, I get class ability energy, so my dodge comes back faster. And then we're also using Whisper of Durance. Slow from your abilities last longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also be increased. Gives me plus 10 in strength, which is why I'm able to hit this 100 strength stat right here. As for my grenade, we're using Dustfield grenades, and then we're also using Marksman's dodge, so whenever I do dodge, I reload my weapon. Now as for my loadout of choice, I recommend using a weapon with Wellspring. You don't have to, but I'm using this SMG with Threat Detector and Wellspring. It's a very good SMG, and it plays very nicely into the ability spam of this build because I do have rather low discipline, but I'm going to make up for that using the Demolitionist chain reaction roll in Salvager salvo. And whenever you get chain reaction kills, like you kill the enemy, then the body blows up, those kills actually do count towards Demolitionist, so you can get nearly almost your whole demolition or your whole grenade back by using Demolitionist and chain reaction. It's rare that it happens, but if you do get like that perfect kill and the perfect chain reaction, yeah, you can get a lot of grenade energy back. And not to mention that you can reload your grenade launcher by throwing one of your grenades. So these two abilities, or these two perks rather, do synergize very well together. And then we're also using Two-Tailed Fox because this thing's a beast. I'm just waiting for this thing to get fixed. Please make it fixed very quickly because I want to use it so bad. As for my stats, we got 105 mobility, means that my dodge is on an 11-second cooldown, but it's going to be so much more faster. I mean, that's already pretty damn fast, but as long as we're defeating slowed targets, it's going to come back quicker. We got 36 resilience, we got 32 recovery, 21 discipline. Now this does suck, but we're gonna make up for it using Demolitionist. Like I said, you can get a lot of grenade energy as long as you're getting those chain reaction kills. We got 38 intellect. We have a way to make up for the low intellect stat. And then we have 104 strength, meaning my melee is on a 43-second cooldown. As for my helmet, using a mobility mod. We got grenade launcher ammo finder because I want to take advantage of Salvager salvo as much as possible. And then we got Radiant Light. Casting your super causes nearby allies to become charged with light, but the main reason I'm using this is for that plus 20 strength stat. And on my arms, we got a minor strength mod. We got Overload SMG because I do like to take all my builds into the Nightfall. We got SMG Loader, and then we got Heavy Handed. While charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, consuming 1 stack of charged with light. And I do have the secondary perk active, which is while surrounded by multiple combatants, defeating a combatant with a fusion rifle, shotgun, sidearm, or SMG as ammo for that weapon to your reserves. So like I said, I'm just trying to spam my melee with this build. I have the Grim Harvest, I get the nice chunks of melee energy back, and then I have Heavy Handed. So whenever I do use but I have to use both of them though. Can't be like use the first one then I get half. It has to be the last melee charge, then you get half of that melee back. But then I defeat those targets, I get melee energy from picking up the crystals. Oh yeah, you guys can already see the synergy here. And for my exotic piece of choice, which is probably my favorite hunter exotic, you just get a second dodge. But I honestly think that's so valuable because you can either reload twice, you can get your melee back by using the other dodge. I just think it's so valuable. We got a strength mod as well. We got concussive dampener. We got melee damage resist. Actually, I'll probably switch this to sniper damage resist. And then we got blast radius. Become charged with light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with grenade launchers or rocket launchers. Like I said earlier, I want to focus on using Salvager salvo as much as possible. So I figured I would switch it up. I feel like I always use taking charge, which is this one right here, by picking up the orb of power. but I want to switch it up so we're using blast radius, getting multiple kills with it, makes me become charged with light. So actually I don't have to run around looking for these orbs. As long as I'm just slaying out with the grenade launcher, I become charged with light. On my legs, we're using a minor mobility mod. Now we got invigoration, reduce melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. It's a small little chunk, or a small little bit, not even a chunk rather, but it's still worth it because, you know, I'm going to be generating a lot of orbs. So on the chance that I do pick up an orb of power, I get a little bit of melee energy back. We got grenade launcher scavenger, and then we got powerful friends. When you become charged with light, nearby allies also become charged with light if they are not already. I'm going to be constantly charged with light, so it's going to help my teammates, and I'm getting plus 20 mobility because I do have the second perk active. And onto my hunter cloak, we got a minor mobility mod. We got outreach, so whenever I use my dodge, I get some nice melee energy back. And then we have this new artifact mod, Glacial Inheritance. Defeating targets with your stasis super refunds super energy. So like I said, I do have low intellect. Actually, we can look at it right here. I only have 38 intellect, but we're going to make up for that because this gives you a nice little bit. I'm pretty sure that if I was using maybe Behemoth or Shadebind or something that's better at clearing ads, it's probably way better. But I do get a nice little bit of super energy, so I'm surprised with it. And then we got Shield Break Charge. Become charged with light by breaking a combatant's shield with a matching energy type. I only had one mod slot available, so I figured I would throw it on there on the chance that I do break a matching element type, shield, whatever. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to have it on there. And as for my hunter fashion, I never really made a fashion with the new raid arms, so I figured I would try and make it look as nice as I could. It looks like kind of robotic, but kind of like assassin type. And then the helmet, I love this helmet actually. This is probably my favorite helmet. And this is the first time I'm using a hood without or I'm using a cloak without a hood. So I thought I made it look as best as I could. Let me know what you guys think. Shaders will be in the description below. So when I initially got the new aspect for the hunter and I read the description, I was like, damn, this seems so similar to Tectonic Harvest. And I just like honestly wasn't excited at all. And I was like, should I even make a build on this? But then I was like, F it, let me see what I can do. And honestly, this build was originally going to be just a Salvager salvo build. But as I started to play around with this more and I started to realize, dang, well, the hunter, if you have the right setup, can slow down a lot of enemies. You can have constant crowd control and you can freeze a lot of enemies too if you're able to slow them first, you know, then hit them again and whatnot. But I started to realize like I can actually spawn a lot of stasis crystals, which is going to help me get my melee back and help my teammates get their melee back. So this aspect's actually starting to grow on me the more I play with it. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Not only am I able to spam my melee because of the little stasis shards that spawn, but since I'm using the demolitionist role on my Salvager salvo, I can actually spam my grenades as well. Not spam them, I would say, but I can use them way more than I thought because I do have pretty low discipline in this build. But since I have the demolitionist weapon with chain reaction, I can actually get a lot of grenades. So I'm actually starting to like this build a lot because it's ability spam. It's just pure ability spam. I can constantly freeze them with the shurikens, dodge, they slow down. I can finish them off with the grenade launcher. I'm using the dust field grenade, so when I throw them, they all cluster up. Makes for easy cleanup. I get a nice chunk of grenade energy. I can either throw it again if I get enough, or hit them with another shuriken because since they're slowed with the dust field grenades, they're going to spawn some more of the stasis shards, which is going to allow me to get my melee back, and then I dodge. You know, it's just a big synergy of melee, grenade, and slowing down enemies, and I'm starting to like it a lot. There's not too much I would change with this build, maybe having either a little bit higher intellect or maybe higher discipline, but I can make up for the discipline using demolitionist. So I think higher intellect would be nice, but Glacial Inheritance does help out with that, and plus the fact that since I'm using Salvager salvo, I'm spawning a lot of orbs, so I can just pick those up, but still having higher intellect with this build would be pretty nice. Now this new Glacial Inheritance perk does have my, or it's a mod rather, but it does have my interest because I do see some build potential there, so definitely be on the lookout for a future Glacial Inheritance mod. If you do not have it, or if you don't know which mod to get, I highly recommend getting it because having more stasis supers are very powerful. They're all very good, so I highly recommend getting it. Definitely try out this build. Let me know what you guys think. If you like spamming your melee with the hunter, this is the build for you. So go ahead and try it out and let me know what you guys think. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_balloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.